This is Matt from the Mistbusters, and I'm going to show you the new tobacco and liquid fusion rebuildable atomizer. This atomizer is really pretty cool because it can be set up in a number of different ways, and the way it's designed is pretty neat. So anyway, right now it's set up to vape liquid, so let's have a look and see how that does. The vapor production on it's not fantastic. The flavor is great. The vapor seems a little bit heavy. It's not as fluffy as say the Phoenix, but it does work, and it works well. When you get your tobacco liquid fusion atomizer, it's going to come in a little box, and you're going to get the atomizer, this little cone. Cone does not have threads on it. It just sits over the threads of an ego connection. Let's see. Yeah, so like on the Thor, it would just sit like that. And there's a side that has a shoulder. That side should face up, and the atomizer is going to go on the mod like that. Okay. So there's a couple things you're going to want to do when you first get your fusion. Take the top cap off. Oop.
And drop it on the floor.
Yes, and throw it on the floor. Make sure it gets nice and dirty. And then you have a centerpiece that you're going to screw off, and that's going to show you the inside. Now, this is what's really cool about this atomizer. It's set up with 3 separate set screws so that you can arrange a dual coil or a single coil. Now, if you want to vape liquid out of this atomizer, oils or e-liquid, you can leave it set up basically like this, and there's a needle in the top of the center part. You can take that out. What this needle is for is if you want to set it up to work with a Type A Ego T cartridge, you can use a cartridge like that. But we're going to go ahead and take this piece out. I don't really care for the T cartridges, so this piece is kind of like, I mean, they work okay, but it's a small tank. So if you want a tank setup, that's what you'll have to use. Now you have just those holes right there and that. So you're going to want to probably put a couple drops of liquid on there, screw this down, and then screw your cap back on, put it on your mod, and they are set out of the factory at about 1.5 to 1.8 ohms. This is 1.55, and it's a dual coil. So it's going to burn really hot. It's going to give, you know, a killer throat hit. The vapor production is going to be heavier, not light and fluffy like I said with the Phoenix. It's more light and fluffy. But you can do just one coil at 1.6, 1.8, whatever you want. One thing that I have noticed is that out of the factory, these come with the coils fairly buried on the bottom. And this is kind of cool because they give you this little brush to clean things, and a little instruction manual that isn't worth much, but it gives you a fair idea of how to set it up and tells you how to set it up for tobacco use, somewhat. But we're going to go over that as well and show you how to do that. So one thing to note, that this instruction says you get a piece of stainless steel mesh or a pipe screen. It does not come with a pipe screen. I don't know why it didn't come with it, but basically, you know, if you want a pipe screen, you're going to have to get one separately. But you do get a little cleaning brush, which is nice. That'd be nice to, you know, clean stems or clean out the coils. And then you also get this little packing tool. And this thing comes in super handy. You can actually get up under your coil and lift your coil up. And these coils are set, you know, they're touching the bottom of the well there, so they get submerged in the e-liquid and then they don't operate very well. So I like to lift them up a little bit so that, you know, they're up off of the floor of the atomizer there. And you can also use the wedge tip to kind of rearrange your coils a little bit, spread them out if you want to. And from there, your air is going to travel under and over the coils, and you're going to get a better vapor production out of this. Now, if you want to vape solid materials, we got some Captain Black. This is what my grandfather used to smoke. It's good stuff. If you're a smoker or a pipe smoker, you still like the flavor of tobacco, this might be a viable option for you. However, keep in mind that this is set up for very, you know, small bowls. So, you know, it's not like a big full bowl of pipe tobacco. You're only going to use a pinch of this, and you're probably, you know, setting it up once, you're just going to get about 5 to 7 drags off of it. So I'm going to chop this stuff up fairly fine. We'll probably chop it up a little bit finer than that, but we'll leave it at that for now. Now I already have this one set up the way it's supposed to be, but real quick on this one, what you're going to want to do in order to vape solid material is pull the silica wick out of your coils. The easiest way to do this, you might be able to grab a hold of the ends with tweezers and pull that silica out of the coil. Most likely you're not going to be able to do that though. So take a small Phillips head screwdriver, and on the single set screw side, unscrew the nut and take the wire that's in that set screw out of either side, and then pull your wick out. That's going to leave you with basically an unwound coil. You're going to have to rewind your coil. Nice thing though, you can watch the Phoenix rebuilding to see how to make the coil and arrange the wick and all of that. But when you build your coil, you can use this tool to wrap your wire around instead of the silica. And once you get it all rewrapped, your coil's all rewrapped, do that side, then this side, and then reattach it to this screw. Once you get all that done, it's going to look like this. And this already has a little bit of stuff in it from earlier. Let me get that out of there. Now, there we go. This is why it comes with the pick and the brush, because you can get all this junk down in your coil, just blowing it out. Oh, blew my tobacco all over the place. Alright, like I said, don't need much. So you've got coils traveling along the outside. Those could probably be pushed in a little bit. And you're going to take your tobacco, solid material, stick it in the center like that. And you've got a little tamping tool, so you can push it down in between the coils. Add a little bit more. And that's about the size of, or the amount of tobacco that you're going to want to use in this. Any more than that, it's going to restrict airflow and not hit very well. So if you use a pipe screen, you're going to want to stick it either down on this side or in the other side of the center section around the holes. And it's not really necessary to have the little screen in there. I guess that's just so you don't inhale chunks of tobacco, but I haven't had a problem with it. So just stick that back on top of there, and you take your cap. There we go. Screw that down, and then we'll take the liquid, set up off of there, put this one on here. Okay, so it's all set up and ready to vape. Now, one thing that's different about vaporizing tobacco versus vaporizing e-liquid is when you go to vape, you're going to want to press the button and hold it down for a few seconds before you take your first hit. Now, the other thing about vaporizing tobacco is that you're not going to get these plumes of vapor like you do with vegetable glycerin. It just doesn't react the same with the heat and the coil and all of that. So you are going to get a pretty good flavor out of it. You're going to taste the tobacco. It's going to be a little bit cleaner than burning it, although the coils can heat up the tobacco and actually burn the tobacco. So, you know, on the one hand, it's not quite a vaporizer. It kind of is. You will find ash in there, whereas some vaporizers, you know, you get solid material, non-burn material when you empty it out. With this, you may find ash in it. So again, not a whole lot of vapor, not a whole lot of hits. It's got great tobacco flavor though. If you like tobacco flavor, and that's what you're really going for, you could probably get, you know, 7 hits off of this, not seeing a lot of vapor, but getting great flavor and actually getting nicotine. So, you know, if you're not cool with liquid, or you still like the flavor of tobacco and you're looking for an alternative, this is a great alternative to actually smoking a pipe or smoking a cigarette. So let's see what this looks like when we open it up and clean it out. It's probably not completely done. You can see around where it does hit the coil that it is kind of ashy. So it is burning the material to some extent. It's not just vaporizing it. It is burning it to some extent. But that's what you got. And you got the little brush so you can get in there and clean it out. Just blow all that extra trash out there. Let's load up another one here. I think the finer material that you put in this, the better it's going to perform, because you do have a very small area to put your tobacco in. I'm going to fill this one up a little bit more here. Try and max it out. So, got that. Put our cap on. Screw this on here. Let it heat up for a couple seconds. There we go. The airflow is a little bit more restricted because I did pack so much material into that one. so it's a bit of a tighter draw, but the flavor again is great. I'm really tasting the tobacco flavor. Good stuff. Alright, so there you have it. Back to liquid. This is the Tobacco Liquid Fusion Atomizer. As I said before, you can do oils, e-liquids, or tobacco in this with this atomizer, depending on how you set it up. It can be set up in dripper mode. It can be set up in tank mode. I didn't really demonstrate the tank mode, but it's pretty self-explanatory how to do Ego-T. If you're familiar with Ego-Ts, that's about what it is. It doesn't come with a T-tank or anything like that, but you saw you got the brush, the pick. Doesn't come with the stainless steel, but overall, pretty good little device, pretty good little atomizer, especially if you're looking to vape solids. So check it out, and happy vaping.